The dark truth about a woman whose primary love language is gifts is that she's not seeking a typical relationship based on love and emotional connection. She's not looking to fall in love with you as a person, but only with the things and the financial support you can provide for her. She connects to things, not people. Now, this isn't to disparage these type of women. It's actually very dark and sad. It's because as a child, she was never validated for who she is as a person. Her thoughts, feelings, personality, and just the mere fact that she was born were neglected, abandoned, or completely invisible to her parents. They did not validate her inherent value and worth. So her earliest emotional experiences with her parents taught her that it's not safe to connect emotionally, which is why she fears connecting to people. Or, in some cases, she may have had to perform as a child to get noticed, to not be abandoned, to not be invalidated. And so the only time she was validated was through receiving gifts or items. But whatever the scenario happened in her childhood, what is consistent is at the core, her parents didn't value her just for the mere fact that she was born, that she's special just the way she is. She doesn't have to do or become anything. That was never validated in her, and that just being a person wasn't enough. Now, these women are brilliantly smart because what they did as a child to protect themselves from that painful truth was they made a brilliant, life-saving strategy choice. They chose to protect their hearts by equating their value and worth with external things and possessions. Therefore, since her soul wasn't valued, she's looking for what's called outer or other esteem, which means internally, her parents left her feeling that who she is as a person has no value and worth. So the brilliant strategy, the smart and brilliant strategy that her as a child came up with to solve this dilemma was she made her value and worth determined by something other than herself, something outside of herself. And that's what the gifts represent. So do you see, she's protecting her emotional pain that she experienced and keeping it all out here based on a thing. She never has to go back and relive the painful truth that she was never validated for who she is. And so it's a brilliant life-saving strategy to keep her from experiencing that. And so these outer or other things define her value and worth and keep her emotionally safe. Now, the downside to this is, as an adult, it has a boomerang effect. Because her internal adaptation as a child created, I hate to say distorted, it's just a different view of love. She only feels loved, worthy, or valuable as a person when she gets shoes or bags or outfits or spa days or trips or other gifts or monetary financial support. She thinks the more things and possessions that she receives, the more she is loved. This means she's also emotionally avoidant because her connection and love are for the item, not you as a person. It's not about your heart. Her attraction to you is not about your heart or your character or your personality. It's about things that your wallet, your credit cards, and your bank account can provide for her. Her love for you is transactional. Interestingly, adding into all of this is there's a high correlation between women whose primary love language is gifts and a love for animals. Which, if you think about it, it makes total sense. Because What happens with a pet or an animal? There's no emotional risk involved. With animals, it's a one-way emotional support street, and it always goes towards the pet owner. The animal will never withdraw its emotional support, unlike her parents, who did, so she's always safe, and she can treat her animal like a light switch. When she wants an emotional connection, she engages with her pet. When she wants to be left alone, she doesn't. And the beauty of it, when she ignores her pet, is the animal won't complain and won't hold her accountable for being transactional and for ignoring her and just basically taking emotion to fill herself and only depositing emotion into the animal when it works for her. A human wouldn't allow that. A human wants reciprocity. But animals, you can starve them for days without attention, and they'll still react to you just like they did if you've been smothering them with attention for weeks. There's no difference. That's the beauty of choosing an animal over a person. So you do have to recognize that if this woman whose primary love language is gifts, if she has an animal, you will always be her mistress because she's already in a primary emotional relationship with her pet. That pet and their needs will always come before yours. And that's who she will turn to emotionally. Think of it, if you've met these type of women, when you've had a fight or something like that, they disappear. They don't engage with you and talk to you. They disappear and hang out with their pet. Their pet consoles them emotionally. And that's who they have their primary relationship with. They don't turn to the man in their life. And so you'll have to recognize that her primary emotional support will always be the animal, and you will be her mistress. The other thing you're going to have to recognize is if you're not providing things for her or financial support for her, the typical things, the other love languages, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, her interest in spending time with you, affirming you, doing things for you, or having physical intimacy with you, whether that includes time in the bedroom or just simple, holding hands, physical touch type stuff, it will stop. If you want any of those things, they must be bartered and paid for. She will turn on those love languages as soon as her external validation and worth has been satisfied. As long as she's receiving things and possessions or some type of financial support, she will then put effort into spending time with you, complimenting you, physical touch, and acts of service. But it's always a transaction. That payment or that gift always comes first if you want this. It's never reciprocal. It must be bartered and paid for. Now, this doesn't make this person a bad person to be with. There's a lot of pros and cons. In a minute, I'm going to talk about relationships are like pizza toppings, and it'll make a lot more sense. But there are a lot of advantages to being with a woman whose primary love languages are gifts. For instance, if you love your work, she's never going to complain if you work 80 hours a week. Because what does the work provide? Gifts. Financial support. That's the love she's looking for. So she'll never get in the way of how much you enjoy your work. You're going to get lots of free time and independence. Just provide her with a gift or some sort of financial support. And you can do whatever you want. If you make a mistake, you can just cover it up with a gift. You're not going to have to sit and do the deep, long emotional repair work that happens in typical relationships. Another great benefit for some men is she's not going to pepper you with questions and trying to get to know you as a person, or your childhood, or your life, or your fears, or your worries, or passions, or hobbies. Remember, she's emotionally detached. She's emotionally disinterested. That stuff's too deep. Because if I start asking you, you might have to ask me, well, let's just talk about the next trip we're going to take instead. I'll just go to the spa. You go play golf with your buddies. You go talk to them. You know, and so you get that freedom. You never have to, you know, have those discussions if you're the type of man who doesn't like it. Her deepest discussions with you will always be centered around what things you can provide for her. That's very easy. Emotionally, it's easy. Which means you also never have to risk emotional injury because you're never going to have to be vulnerable. You always get to stay emotionally safe because she's not looking for an emotional connection. Remember, she connects to things, not people. Now, for those of women or people who are disagreeing, think about it. Obviously, she's not looking for a relationship because if she was, a true relationship requires tons of quality time, tons of physical touch, tons of affirmation, and tons of acts of service. And that's what she'd be talking to you about. That's what she'd pursue. She'd see a gift as, oh, that's sweet, but no, when are we going to go for a walk together? When are you going to tell me about your day? Can we hold hands in the car? Like, that's emotional connection. And that would be her primary way. She would approach you, talk about you. She wouldn't care about what your career is. It wouldn't even matter. You could be a plumber. But if she truly wants a deep emotional love and connection, money is of no value to her. But if money is of value to her, if gifts are of value to her, it means she's looking for a transaction. She's not looking for an emotional connection. So, you know, another benefit of this is if you're looking for a transactional relationship and want to stay emotionally safe, you can have an excellent relationship with this type of woman. The only real requirement of you is work hard and supply things so that she'll be content. Now, what are the cons of having a relationship with this type of woman? Well, if you don't like the work, it's not going to go well. You're going to have to work your tail off and make sure you have lots of money, because if you don't have money to shower her with gifts, you're of no value to her, and she will leave you. Now, you may have money in the beginning, but as soon as that money's gone, since her value and worth comes from outside of herself, as soon as you stop providing that, she's just not going to feel love for you. Remember, because of her childhood, there's a skew in her brain. She equates love and relationship to things, not quality time, acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, the typical things that people, you know, when they're in love with the personal connection. She's not connecting to you personally, she's connecting to things. And that's why you have to remember, this person is not attaching to you as a person. Your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, your deep worries and concerns, it will not go well if you bring those up. She don't want to hear about it, because that requires her to be emotionally available, and that's what she's trying to avoid. What matters to her is, and what she's attaching to, is your wallet, your bank account, and your credit cards. So if you're the type of man who wants a traditional, what some people call real relationship, based on emotional connection, emotional vulnerability, deep physical, intellectual, spiritual intimacy, and personal growth, it's not possible with this type of woman. This type of woman, for her to have a quote-unquote real relationship, she'd have to commit to doing some serious, deep childhood trauma recovery work. She'd have to do a lot of work regaining her self-esteem to bring it back inside her, because it's outside of her. Remember, her value and worth is external, it's not internal. She'd have to work with a professional like myself to recapture that. She'd also, since it wasn't modeled for her at home, she'd have to learn what emotional connection looks like, and learn how to develop the skills and tools to connect emotionally to a person instead of things or animals. So whichever way you go, neither one is right or wrong. All relationships are Just like pizza toppings. Think about it. We all want different things on our pizza. Some like meat lovers, other vegetarian. Does that make either one of them bad or wrong? No, it's just different. So, who cares if all a woman wants is gifts and doesn't want an emotional connection and wants her primary relationship with an animal? I guess you'd call that a vegetarian. Who cares? Maybe you as a man love vegetarian. Well, then this is the perfect woman for you. Now, maybe you're a man who likes other things. You want quality time and physical touch. Well, her pizza toppings don't line up with yours. It doesn't make her bad. And it doesn't make him bad because he doesn't want to buy you things. Neither side is bad or wrong. Unfortunately, people want to judge the way people pursue relationships, but it's literally as simple as pizza toppings. We all have our own different pizza toppings we like, and we never discard somebody because they put different toppings on their pizza. Well, we shouldn't discard or judge or criticize people who have different relationship styles and different relationship needs. They get to have whatever the hell they want on their pizza. Well, this woman, her pizza toppings are shoes and bags and clothes and spa days and trips and, well, good for you. Knock yourself out, honey. Find a man who just says, here's the card, honey. Get yourself some new shoes. Like, that's a perfect pizza topping mix right there. And so don't feel bad about yourself if you're this type of woman. Own it. Just go, yeah, this is me. This is my pizza. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, well, I'll find a man who likes my pizza. Now remember, this is the thing. And also I can hear women feeling upset or, the word of the use trauma, and that this is a trauma reaction. Look, every single one of us has been through childhood trauma. All the other love languages, they're adaptations also. That's all any relationship is. We've all come out of childhood with our own perfectly imperfect special wounds to each of us. The secret to finding a great relationship is go become an expert in your childhood trauma that created your desire for certain pizza toppings. Because once you know what your trauma is and how it created these adaptations, you'll know which pizza toppings and which trauma you play best with. The reason relationships don't work is people end up, because of the way our brain and body works, they choose. Their brain is literally chemically addicted. And I could put you in a room with 20,000 people of the opposite sex and put one person in there that's just like your childhood, and like radar, your brain would go, oh, they're all attractive, they're nice, they have all the great time, but there's something about this one, and that's the one who's gonna hurt you and relive your trauma just like you experienced in childhood. So the problem isn't the other person, it's not their pizza toppings, it's that you as the individual haven't become an expert in the trauma that you experienced and realized, okay, because I went through this. So for instance, the woman who likes gifts recognizes, wow, he's right, that's exactly what happened to me. Okay, so what I need is a man who was rewarded for being a pleaser, being the nice guy. That our pizza toppings are gonna mix very well together. All he's gonna wanna do is buy me things, because that's how he was validated in his childhood. So neither one of these people are bad or wrong. They've just done the necessary work to discover, my childhood created these adaptations. So I need a woman who doesn't want any of this other stuff. She just wants to go on trips and buy her things. Oh my God, she's perfect for me. That's the secret. Go become an expert in what created your desire for certain pizza toppings. And once you know that, the second you sit across from somebody, you'll know, they're the pizza maker I'm looking for. They're gonna make the pizza toppings that I need from them. That's the secret.